Alright, good evening everybody again. Last day, remember I gave you all 2 assignments for your homework. One of them was to complete this table. How many of you got it done? I saw a few already. I saw some people attempted to finish it but they didn't finish it. But today I want us to just finish it before you move on because it will help you in your essay assignment that Sir just informed you about. So we're going to work a bit on the table just for 2 minutes just to complete the table, right? Anybody who does not have a copy of the table, please see me afterwards and I will get one to you, right? Alright, now you will notice the table has 3 columns, right? Everybody see the 3 columns on the table? Is everyone there? Is Shanika here? Somebody is here. Alright, so the first column we have the countries that were involved in the slave trade, right? The 3 major countries, remember, Sir was just mentioning that the 3 major areas that were involved, right? The second column deals with the ports belonging to the major areas, the different major areas. And the third column deals with the goods that were traded by the different areas, right? So, in the first column, I started off for you and I gave you Western Europe, right? Now, what other countries did you discover fell under the Western Europe and that area around there? Some of you had it already, I just saw it. England, France, some people had what? Spain, right? But generally we're speaking about that area by Europe and England there, right? So, if you go across to the next column, what were some of the ports belonging to that area? We have, anybody? I gave you all one, Liverpool, right? What are some of the other ports?
Bristol.
Bristol, right?
London.
What? London, what again? Bordeaux, right? I know you might be shy to say that one.
Lagos.
No, not Lagos. Lagos does not belong to the European area. It's Nantes, right? Right? So those are the few you are supposed to have belonging to the European area. Right? Everybody have those? Alright, now we're moving on to Africa. Now I started with West Africa and you will see some of the ports associated there will be what? Somebody said it just now. Right, Lagos, Gori, what again?
Cape Coast.
Cape Coast, what again? You all need to fill in this one before you go there because it will be essential for your essay.
Luanda.
Right, Luanda. And anybody else? Anything else? No, Kingston is the Caribbean.
That's Havana.
That's Havana. Right? So the 4 were Gori, Cape Coast, Lagos, and Luanda. Right? Now, the next major area that was involved in the triangular trade would be the Caribbean. Right? That was one of the destinations. And last day I started off by giving you Kingston as one of the ports in Jamaica. Anybody else got any other that they want to share?
Port Royal. Port Royal.
Where that's from?
Jamaica.
Right. You need to tell me where it's from. Because the Caribbean is different countries, right? Where again? What about Bridgetown? Where is that?
Barbados.
In Barbados. And what about is that a Cape Francis? But it's I don't think I pronounced it correctly. Right? What? Right. It is in Saint Domingue, is it called? Right? But it's Cape Francis, that would be English translation of the word. Right? So everybody should have the table almost complete. Now the goods that were traded, that's the last thing, the last column. We didn't deal with that was another good that the Europeans would take to Africa in exchange for Africans, right? So in Africa now, what was the main commodity or the main goods that was traded from? Right, slaves, but they also got some other stuff like spices, gold, and ivory, right, and hardwood, right. But at the Caribbean, no, what was the good that they took from the Caribbean and carried back to Europe?
Sugar.
Anything else? Before sugar, what it was?
Tobacco.
Alright, you all remember that lesson? With syrup, of course. Alright, but today we're going to move on, right? And to start today's lesson, I would like everybody to sit back and just pay attention for a few minutes because we're going to have a short dramatization, right? So, I would say we just put on the chair, right? And I would like everyone to face forward because after that, we're going to do a PowerPoint presentation and you have to take notes, right? I'll give you the instructions. Alright, no, this is not serious.
Good afternoon. Guys, we take up the hall, get this. Is this similar to the silk and gold? You can expect it to.
Okay, so this is the slave he's of good height, he looks strong. This is him.
Hungarian.
Your name put that in there?
Yes.
Okay, what does that mean? Don't tell me why it is. Alright, put that in there, what do you want? Your name is Joshua. Because I like Joshua, don't question his slave. He's a Christian.
I would like about 2 crates of gun and some gunpowder.
Joshua, table back, crates, pick up now.
Move it! Move, slave! Yeah!
Trade, right? It was a trade. And who was trading? What was traded? Slaves, right? And did you take note of the way that he was bound? Where did you see chains? On his neck, on his hands, and I don't think he had on his feet, right? But in some cases, they were bound by their feet as well, right? And that image or that portrayal there gives you a little sneak peek or a slight idea of what could have happened at the coast of Africa when the slave traders came to trade for Africans, right? So now we're going to do today, I want us to focus on how they reached that point. How you think, well, in this case it was for me, but how you think Africans got to that point where they were bound, they were chained, and they were exchanged for goods? Did they stop in their tribe and say, well, you know, I feel to go to the Caribbean, let me tie up myself and go and take this long journey and come to the Caribbean? Did they say that? Or what or who was responsible for them being traded?
Chinese.
Right? So your notebook because this presentation you're about to see will give you the answers to these questions. How will the Africans obtain for trade? Right? So, Mr. Ramana is coming to start the PowerPoint presentation, and I want you all to pay attention and take notes. Then afterwards, I'm going to give you a quiz. I'm going to divide you all in teams, and we're going to do a short quiz to see all those who actually understood what took place, right? How will Africans capture for sale in Africa? Or how did they become slaves, right? Yeah. You all can see the right still, right? I hope you all can see the right still. No, no talk.
Any other questions? Transatlantic slave. Transported across the Atlantic by Europeans who needed labor for their colonies in the Caribbean. Anthony Tibble's Transatlantic Slave. From Western Europe, laden with goods, sailed to the west coast of Africa. What goods were traded in return for black gold? What was black gold? Black gold is Africans. Cloth, iron, rum, guns, gunpowder, and cotton were some of the goods traded for black gold or Africans. But how did the Europeans obtain Africans? Who traded with the Europeans? The answer, Africans. Yes, Africans traded fellow Africans. How were Africans captured? Africans became enslaved within the transatlantic trade mainly in one of four ways. Number one, criminals were sold by chiefs or kings as punishment. By plying the chiefs with various goods, trinkets, and liquor, the white traders convinced them to sell the villages. Number 2, free Africans from capture during raids by African tribes.
Jackson.
The traders themselves do not capture the slaves, but using the promise of European goods, they encourage the Africans to raid one another's villages, seize whatever captives they could, and march them to the trading stations. Number 3, tribal wars. Wars which led to the acquisition of slaves, often motivated the chiefs to sell them in return for economic gains. Number 4, kidnapping. Many of them kidnapped from their villages. Alexander Falconbridge, a ship's surgeon on a number of slaving voyages, wrote, "A man and his son, according to their own information, were seized by professed kidnappers while they were hunting yams." Otuba described his own capture in this way. He said, "Several great deceitful Africans came upon us suddenly and said we had committed a great fault. Some of us attempted in vain to run away, but pistols or cutlasses were introduced, threatening that if we offered to swim, we should all die dead
And
on the
fear
spot."
of you do not know your place. And if you continue to do that, I will put you out of class.
Bound by shackles and chains, this match, they would be bound together at the neck in what was known as a couple in 2 or 3s, or in lines of as many as 30 or 40 individuals. So let's recap. The Africans were enslaved in 4 ways. They are: 1. African prisoners were sold into slavery by African chiefs. Number 2. Africans were captured and sold after tribal wars. Number 3. Africans were captured and sold after raids. Number 4. Africans were kidnapped. We have now come to the end. Kidnapping, raids, tribal wars, and prisoners or criminals were sold. Right? So we're gonna move on. Mr. Diamond, Mr.
off for you all. Now I'm going to give you all 1 minute to prepare an answer, or the first team to get the answer would raise their hand, right? I need somebody to score on both teams, so Alex will be scoring for your team, and Rennie will score for this team. Alright. No, just writing down for both teams, right? It's like both persons taking record of both teams to score, right? Alright, in the meantime, please, I need you all to be quiet. Right now, I'm only taking off one light, right? So that you all can see, as well I can see two hands going up first. Right, first question. It will appear shortly. So the first team to get that question correct is going to get 10 marks, right? 10. At the end of my entire session with you all, which will be in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I will award the winning team, right? Not today, but I will award you.
What's that, the Africans?
What's that?
The Africans.
Alright, let's go down. First question. Define the term transatlantic trade. Now the first thing to come up with, no, I don't want any half answers there. You'll have to come up with a good definition. Quickly, time is good. The first thing to give me a good answer for that. Alright, team 1. Alex has his hand up. Let's go.
The transatlantic trade was the trading between England and Europe, Africa and the Caribbean, or across the Atlantic Ocean.
Alright, very well. I will accept that answer. 10 marks. Right, so you all have to work together as a team. Right? Don't let the one person answer. Alright. Team 2. You all need to step it up, right? Right. Good. Second question. Let's go. During what period did the transatlantic trade occur? Now this will really show how much you are paying attention, because I have been, okay, team 2 have your hand up first. Let's go. You need to give 2 dates. No, she said during the 1800s. I will move on to team 1. Go ahead.
1500 to 1840.
Alright. Go ahead, Renee. I have to pass back the question. This question is now a quarter of the mark, so she's 2 and a half. Go ahead. 18 what? 17, right? Alright, well, I'll accept that one, right? But you are supposed to be paying attention to the slides. That was one of the first things that came up on the slides, right? Alright, so you're going to team 2 is 2.5 marks, because that question comes back. You got 10? Right, so team 1 has 10 and team 2 has 2.5, right? Third question, let's go. Quickly. Yes, fine. Right. Give the names of 3 major
Wait,
I did not.
Alex.
Wait, to be said here. The both of you are the same team. So go ahead, Alex.
Bristol, Liverpool, and England.
Okay, that is correct. Give it a team. No, I need you all to mix up the persons who are answering. I'm not taking answers from Alex again from that team. Somebody else needs to answer. Right? Alright, let's go number 4. Give the names of 3 major trading ports in Africa. I think the hand was up first. Tanisha.
Lagos.
that needed African labor. Yes,
Spain, Europe, and France.
No. Colonies. Colonies. European colonies. British colonies. You all ever come across that word colony before? No, in colonies.
Yes.
Alright, but I will not give everybody answers to this question, but I will explain, right? Well, a colony would be one of the Caribbean countries that were ruled or governed by either British, French, or Spain or Spanish, right? So this question really asks you, what are 3 British colonies from the Caribbean that needed slave labor? And I'm sure you can answer it now. What are 3 countries in the Caribbean that were under the British rule and needed slave labor? Anybody? Trinidad was one. What again? Jamaica and what? Right, and Barbados, right? So those were colonies, meaning they were countries that were governed and controlled by Europeans, right? Alright, so that's nobody got marks for number 5. Fair enough, right? Yes. Alright, and you'll learn something there with colonies, right? Pay attention to that word because it can appear too on your exam paper. They may not ask you for a slave plantation, they might ask you for a British colony, a Spanish colony, right? So you all pay attention to that word, right? Number 6, let's go. List 5 different goods that were traded. Who's that? I didn't see what I said. Can I just qualify that question? Alright, well here what? You all name 3 and you all name 3 and I'll give you all even marks. No, and I tell you the answer. Alright, now the count of 3, whoever raise their hands first will answer. 1, 2, 3. Sorry. Alright, go ahead. 5 goods that were traded. You'll come on quickly, somebody on the team. Wait, you had stop there. I will now pass the question. No, guys, after how much they said, we will do 5. Alright, now give me 5. Give me 5. Give me 5. Alright, those are 5.
But they had marks.
Yes, so I got 10 marks. Alright, now Dave and company, I want you all to settle down. Right? Because this might seem as fun now, but it's important information you'll get in here. Right? Number 7, let's go. I'm looking at the hands now. You already question and I'm looking at the hands. Alright, I definitely saw Kira's hand also first. And the question asks, what group of people also known as black people? The Africans, very good. You're going to get your 10 marks. You all going to give them a round of applause. Alright. Alex, your team, you all ready? Next question. I saw Okira and Kanisha's hand right up first. Okay, let me read the question and you answer. Explain 4 ways in which Africans became enslaved or captured for slavery. Now, think about your answer first. Don't just say kidnapping and leave it at that. But think about it, right? Go ahead.
Yes, the first one, criminals were sold by African chief. Tribal wars, kidnapping, and the Africans were captured. And the Africans were captured after the tribal wars.
Alright, let me hear the 4. Let me hear the 4. Hold on. Let me hear the 4, please.
the last time of
Yes.
And kidnapping many of them were kidnapped from their villages.
Right.
Wars which led to acquisition as slaves.
Yeah.
For economic shows.
That's only 3.
And freedom Africans were captured during raids by African tribes.
Alright. We will give them the 10 marks. The tribe really have.
Yeah.
Right? So did you all hear? Did you all hear the 4 ways?
No.
Alright. Then they just said the first 3 criminals were sold by African chiefs. Right? They were also captured through tribal wars. 3 Africans were captured through raids. And what was the last way? Kidnapping. Right? Very good. Let's move on. Now think about that. Yes, I saw it. Right. In your opinion, which method of capturing slaves was most efficient and why? Yes? I can't take from you again. Go ahead.
I think raids were more efficient because you could get more slaves.
Strong.
Yeah. You could get more.
Alright. Let me hear this team.
Miss, I thought the kidnapping was better because I don't know, like you catching them unexpected and off guard, and you get to see one that you would want to take. So,
Alright.
in a way,
Good responses. Go ahead. They were already captured.
Yes, and just did
Alright. And what do you have to say about kidnapping?
Let's not waste our time because you are always struggling with them.
And tribal wars. Alright. Was that? For this question, everybody gets marks because it's an opinionated question. You notice I said in your opinion. There's no right or wrong answer there. But I just wanted you to have an idea. If you were to take, if they ask you, if they give you a question, select one of the methods used to capture the Africans and state how effective it was, right? Or why you should use that method as opposed to another. At least you all have answers coming, right? Now think about this, with the tribal wars, as they were saying, not everybody survived in a war. So there will be a lot of bloodshed. And those who might survive may be injured. Same way with the raids as well. When they do raids, not everybody might survive. Some might die, some might be beaten, right? So it will defeat their value. If it is you're selling a merchandise and it is broken and beaten up, then the value decreases, right? So probably kidnapping and the criminals who are already in captivity may have gotten a higher price depending on their age and the weight and the size and the height and the color, right? But I just wanted to get you all thinking, right? So 10 marks each for both teams for that question, right? Boys in the back, you all clear on that?
Yes.
All right, good. We're going to move on to number 10.
Me, I.
This mine
Your so you see the first? I didn't say one hands down, one hands down. Alright, now I'm going to count to 3 again, and the first hand that goes up after the count of 3 will answer. 1 after 3. 1, 2, 3. I see Donnell hand up. Go ahead, Donnell.
Because I changed that now. Shackles.
One particular word I'm looking for that was on the slides.
One big couple. Oh God! Oh God!
Dancing.
Unfortunately, I will disqualify that question again too because it was partially correct and then I was looking for the next question. Number 12. Number 12 have 5 parts. Now, yes, let me just give them some instruction with regards to number 12. Alright, sit down a little bit, please. Boys and girls understand, right? Number 12 are 5 true and false questions. I will not be reading them. You all read them. And the first person to raise their hand will get an opportunity to answer. One at a time is coming up. And you read one and you decide whether it's true or false. So the first person to wait. The question that come up here, that's not the question. Right? When the question comes up, you will read and the first person to raise their hand will get to answer. Alright, let's go number 12. Alright, Akira, go ahead. True, and it is correct. The slave trade was a chance. Alright, you listen up, please. You have a chance to get another one correct, right? Listen. The slave trade was an economic venture, right? And that is true. It was a business, it was a trade, it was about commerce, right? Second statement. The statement didn't come up yet, but go ahead. Go ahead. True. Right, very good. Africans sold Africans in the slavery. Third one. I did see Donnell's hand went up. No. Donnell, did you raise your hand before the question? Yes. Well, right, I will give the question to this team. No! Wait for your question to come up first. Go ahead. The Europeans did not. Is that true or false? Yeah. It is false, right? Because the Europeans did try to get the African chiefs to sell slaves to them, right? So that statement is false. Now, make sure the statement comes up and then your hand should go up. Kira, come your hand at this point, please. Right. Number 4. First, some Africans died in slave raids and tribal wars. It's true, right? Some would fall, some would have gotten beaten and killed. Some depends. And the last statement of true or false. Alright, go ahead. False, right? They were not, definitely they were not glad to go. I'm so sorry about that, right? But they were not glad to go, right? They were captured, they were taken captive, so they were not glad to go. Now there are 2 more questions, and then we will tally the marks. Let's go. Right. What do you believe, occurred when the Africans arrived on the west coast to meet the Europeans? Yes, madam, what do you believe took place? Again, pay attention to you believe. Right.
What do you believe?
I believe that trade happened.
Right, trade occurred. want to elaborate on that? I will take a response from you all too, right? Because so normally dramatization is
alcohol and cotton and all of them.
Alright. Well, the trade did occur when they actually meet these traders, right? But do you all remember the dramatization that we started class with? Alright, okay. Well, here on. Let's look at the next question. Alright, just take the last two questions, and this will be your assignment for homework. The last question asks, in your opinion, what effects would the triangular trade have on the country of Africa? Right? So you are coming to ideas next class, and we're going to